Okay, just join.
Ma'am, if you could just copy link and paste. If you could just copy link and paste it.
So I have to copy the link.
You have to click the copy link and can you paste it in
Click
the
the
chat?
copy link and can you paste it in the chat?
Is it taking up a lots of time?
Ma'am, so we should look at the new
Ma'am,
part
so you
or
should look at the new part or the
Teams.
Teams.
Uh, Can you see the screen right now? The capacitor and capacitance? Boys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the code is here. Just check because I have sent the link, but I'm not able to access the link. Yes, anyway, I have started with capacitors and capacitance. Now, what is the difference between a capacitor and a battery? Actually, this is not there in your syllabus, but should I go for the video clipping of this or should I skip this? Should I go for the video clipping, boys?
That's the chapter's name, no?
That's the
Capacitor and
chapter's name, no?
capacitance.
Capacitor and
It's
capacitance.
not a chapter's name, it's a subtopic of this chapter, second chapter. Anyway, I'll go for it.
Ma'am, is this video important?
Ma'am, is this video important for the next topics?
No, this video is important in that sense. It just differentiates your capacitor and a battery. Both are storage devices. Your capacitor is a storage device. Your battery is also a storage device. But what purpose you are using a capacitor instead of a battery, right? So that I think so you can check this later, boys. Slightly an extended learning for you. Now you can write, start writing. Capacitor is a device, right, boys? Capacitor is a device, right? Abhishek, right?
Ma'am,
Yes.
should we join using the
When
code?
should we join using the code?
Now, if you want, you can, boys, better to join because you can access a simulation over there. Right? That's right. Capacitor is a device which stores electric charge on two conducting plates separated by a finite gap. A capacitor is a device which stores electric charge on two conducting plates separated by a finite gap. Now we'll see the working principle of a capacitor. So in a battery, your stored up energy is chemical in nature. In a capacitor, the energy is stored in a form of an electric field that exists between both the plates. So a capacitor is a device which stores electric charge on two conducting plates. The plates can be rectangular plates or it can be a spherical plates also, separated by a finite gap. Shall I move on, boys?
Ma'am, will you upload the
Ma'am,
PPT
will
later?
you upload the PPT later?
This one? I think if you have the code, you can access voice. Shall I move on to the next one?
Ma'am, we can't access the PPT
Ma'am, we
unless
can't
there's the
access the
host,
PPT
like
unless there's the host,
without
like
the host.
without the host.
Fine.
Do you have to draw the diagram also?
Do you have to draw the diagram also?
No, nothing was just all the introductory part because it's almost the weekend last period. I thought Instead of plunging into the theoretical part, I thought I'll just go for the introduction with. Shall I move on? So we'll see the working. One second, boss. We'll just see the working of your capacitor.
Component in the circuits. Now these capacitors are available in various sizes and shapes. But the basic function of any capacitor is to store the electrical energy. So now in this video, let us understand how does this capacitor works and how the energy is stored across this capacitor. Now this capacitor consists of two conducting plates which are separated by a dielectric material. Now this dielectric material is the insulating material and it opposes the flow of current. So now let us understand when we apply the voltage to this capacitor, then how the energy is stored across this capacitor. Now before the application of voltage, the two conducting plates of this capacitor are electrically neutral. It means that it has an equal amount of positive as well as the negative charge. But once the voltage is applied to this capacitor, then from the top plate, the electrons or the negative charge is attracted towards the positive terminal of this battery. And through the negative terminal of the battery, the electrons are pushed towards the bottom plate of this capacitor. Now because of the dielectric material between the two plates, the electrons which are collected at the bottom plate of this capacitor are not able to cross this barrier. And because of that, you will observe that over the period of time, the electrons will get accumulated at the bottom plate of this capacitor. So over the period of time, the top plate will have a shortage of electrons while the bottom plate will have a excessive electrons. Or we can say that the top plate will get positively charged while the bottom plate will get negatively charged. And because of the charged particles, the potential difference will get developed across the two plates. Now the building of charges across the two plates will continue till the point the potential difference that is developed across the two plate is equal to the supplied voltage. Now because of this potential difference, the electric field will get developed across the two plates, and this developed electric field is directly proportional to the potential difference and it is inversely proportional to the distance between the two plates. So smaller the distance between the two plates, the stronger will be the electric field. So in this way, when we apply the voltage to the capacitor, then the charges are developed across the two plates of this capacitor, and because of the development of the charge, the electric field is developed between the two plates. So in this way, the capacitor stores the energy in form of this electric field. Now even if we remove this voltage source, then also the charges that is developed across the two plates will remain as it is. So unless we apply the conductive part to this capacitor, the charges that is developed across the two plates will remain as it is. So as you can see over here, the conductive path is connected between the two terminals of this capacitor, and the load in the form of bulb is connected to this conductive path. So now whenever we turn on this switch, at that time the electrons from the bottom plate will get attracted towards the top plate, and in this way you will see the transfer of charge or flow of current through this conductive path. So now because of flow of current, you will see that the bulb will glow, and in this way the current will flow through this conductive path. Procedure continue till both the plates will become electrically neutral. So over the period of time, you will observe that both plates will become electrically neutral and there will not be any flow of electrons through this conductive path, and because of that the bulb will again turned off. So in this way, the charge that was developed across the capacitor has been discharged through this conductive path, and this phenomenon can be known as the discharging of this capacitor. Now the ability of the capacitor to store the charge is known as the capacitance, and it is represented as the charge that is developed across the capacitor per unit voltage, and generally it is denoted by the unit of Faraday. Now this Faraday is very big unit, and usually it is not used to define the capacitance. Rather, very small units like millifarad, microfarad and picofarads are used to define the capacitance. So now for the given capacitance, If you want to store the more charge across the capacitor, then you need to apply the more voltage across that capacitor. Or for the given voltage, suppose if you want to store the more charge across the capacitor, then you need to select the capacitor in such a way that it has a large capacitance. So as you can see over here, by changing the applied voltage, we can change the amount of charge that is stored across the capacitor. But here we cannot increase the voltage indefinitely. So for every capacitor, you will find that the maximum voltage rating has been defined. So the voltage that is applied across the capacitor should be less than that maximum rating. So if the applied voltage is greater than the maximum rated voltage, in that case, you will see the dielectric breakdown in the capacitor. So now let us see the factors which affects the capacitance of this.
Boys, is it fine? The working of a capacitor, is it fine, boys? Fine. Now we'll see how to define capacitance. Later on, we'll see what are the factors which are going to affect capacitance. Capacitor is a device which stores your electrical charges, but capacitance is the capacity of the capacitor to store the amount of charges. Right, boys?
Now, what is the use of capacitor?
Capacitor stores your electrical charges, right, in the form of electric field. You can discharge as well as charge your capacitor. See, if you're using your storage cells or batteries, what happens is that after some time, the dry cell and the dry battery, dry cells, you have to replace them. You cannot reuse them, but capacitor can be, you can charge and discharge your capacitor. Basically, capacitor will work with AC voltage. You cannot have a capacitor with a DC voltage. Charging will take place, but discharging will not take place in DC power supply. So always whenever you're using a capacitor, you can use your capacitor for your electrical means. One important thing in comparison with your battery is that your battery once worn out, you have to throw it off. But capacitor, you can keep on charging and discharging. There is one more advantage of capacitor over your storage device like your batteries. That is one important video clipping where you can use your. Should I go for that video clipping where it shows why your capacitor is better than your cells, or should I later on? Will you watch that? I'll pass the link to you, boys. Fine. Okay. Now look. Wait 1 second.
Ma'am, what's a dielectric? What's a dielectric?
Dielectric, boys, I have to do dielectric. Before that, I have to introduce to polarization. So what I thought is, let me derive an expression for the capacitance. Capacitance is nothing but the capacity of a capacitor to hold the charges. So let me derive for a parallel plate capacitor, and then I'll introduce polarization, and then we'll go for dielectric. Generally, dielectric is a material, is an insulating material.
Can you write the previous slide?
Previous one. This one, right? Let me just finish off this whiteboard and then let me go for the course. So your capacitance, the charges which can be stored across your capacitor plate depends upon the potential difference. Boys, you have a parallel plate capacitor. You have two metal plates, say connected to a power supply, right? So if the power supply is 2 volt, you will have some amount of charges deposited on it. Okay. Say the charge which can be stored is 2 coulomb. Now, if I increase the supply voltage, say to 10 volt, then the amount of charges which can be deposited on across the plates of the capacitor will increase, so that the amount of charges, say it increases to 10 coulomb. So basically it means the charges which can be stored across a capacitor is directly proportional to the potential difference across your capacitor. Q is directly proportional to V, or I can say Q is equal to C times V. This constant of proportionality, we call this as the capacitance of the capacitor. So keep this in mind. The amount of charge which can be stored in a capacitor depends upon the supply voltage. If you increase the supply voltage, then the number of charges which can be stored in a capacitor will increase, the amount of charges, right? So the amount of charge which can be held by a capacitor is directly proportional to what voltage you're applying across your capacitor. Q is directly proportional to V, or Q is equal to C into V. This constant of proportionality, C, is what we call it as the capacitance of a capacitor. Right, like your resistance of a resistor. C, capacitance is the to what extent a capacitor can hold the charges, and it depends on various factors. Let us see on what factor does the capacitance of a capacitor is going to depend.
Should we write anything? Should we write anything?
This was? No need.
Should we write anything? Should we write anything?
No, nothing. Later on we'll see. Right? You are able to access this simulation? Are you people able to access the simulation? Just check.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
now you have two parallel plates. Can you see two parallel plates? The separation between the plates is 6 millimeter. Millimeter or centimeter? Millimeter. The area of each of these plates is 200 millimeters square. Correct? Fine. Now what we'll see is, let us see what might be the, so the top plate is having a charge 0 picofarad. So your stored up energy is 0. Anyway, picojoules. So if you want, let's check the electric field also. Now let me increase the voltage. Let me increase the voltage. What happens? The top plate is positive. The bottom plate is negative. Can you see the electric field lines? Right? All the electric field lines are from positive to negative. Now what happens? Look at this. What happens? You have increased your voltage. What happens to the charge? Now the charge has increased to 0.06 picofarad. Now your capacitance is 0.30 picofarad. Now let us check how does the capacitance is going to change when you are increasing the distance. Can I go for this? Just check how is your capacitance increases, whether your capacitance increases or decreases with increase in this separation. Is it inversely proportional or directly proportional, boys? What happens when the separation between the metal plates increases? What happens to the capacitance? So capacitance is going to decrease. Fine? Okay. Now let us see what happens when the plate area is going to change. I'm increasing the plate area. Check the value of your capacitance. When the plate area is 200 millimeters square, your capacitance is 0.18 picofarad. So let me increase the plate area. Now what happens to the capacitance? It increases.
It increases.
Is that clear? So when the plate area increases, the storing capacity of the capacitor, that is the capacitance, the capacitance is also going to increase because more number of charges can be stored. So when the distance between your capacitance is going to decrease, then the capacitance is also going to increase. So now let us mathematically check or get an expression for the capacitance of a capacitor. Is that fine, boys?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, if the two metal plates are separated by some space, then how will they conduct a current?
There is no current.
Ma'am, how will they conduct the current?
Okay. So listen, boys. The question what you have asked comes in the second volume under electromagnetic wave, there is a special type of current, what we call it as displacement current. You understand? See, what happens, see, the top plate and the bottom plate are connected by a metallic wire. Can you see the metallic wire? The top and the bottom plate are connected by a metallic wire. So now current will flow from top to bottom plate through the metallic wire. But there should be, for the current to flow, the circuit should be complete. There is an insulating material. Air is also an insulating material. An insulating material is placed between both the plates. Then how is the current is capable of passing through the space between the plates? Here, the current is not due to the flow of electrons. Between the plates, the current is not due to the flow of electrons, but it is a varying electric field. Such varying electric field will give rise to displacement current. You will understand these concepts only when you go for your electromagnetic waves in the second chapter. Right now, just think over in the external circuit. This is called the external circuit. In the external circuit, the current is due to the movement of electrons between the plates. The current is due to the varying electric field. You can see a varying electric field over here. The time varying electric field, why is it's a varying electric field? Boys, your capacitor will work only with AC power supply, not with DC power supply. AC power supply, the voltage itself is varying. So the electric field also keeps varying. This time varying electric field between the plates of the capacitor is responsible for the current. Is that clear, boys? No, I think so. I'll stop this. Yes. Yes, tell me.
When the distance
increases,
voices are echoing.
Okay, tell me. What happens?
Ma'am, will this work in a vacuum?
Yes, you can. It works in a vacuum also.
Ma'am, have you kept us on speaker?
So what is happening? Because no, I think so. I have switched over to that video. I was playing the video mode, so I have to switch over to the normal one. Then I can. I think so. I'm capable of talking. You will be able to hear properly. Shall I go for the next one?
Because the voice is like.
Yeah, that's it. So let me just. We'll go for the next one, boys. Yes. Shall we go for this parallel plate capacitor, or should I define what is capacitance of a capacitor?
Ma'am, you said a capacitor works only with the AC power supply, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
DC
but
it will work, boys. Only. Yes.
Yeah, no, the battery is a DC power supply, isn't it?
The battery is a DC power supply. You can charge your capacitor, but you cannot discharge your capacitor. You know what is charging a capacitor?
Yeah.
Charging your capacitor, so I have to go. See what happens in your DC power supply when you connect a your capacitor to a 9-volt battery, right? So your capacitor keeps on charging until the potential difference across your capacitor becomes equal to the battery voltage, right? Once the potential difference across your capacitor becomes equal to 9 volt, then there will be no movement of charges. Right? It stops, that's it. Then what you need to do is that you have to remove the battery holder. You have to put a LED. Then what happens, whatever charges which are stored in the capacitor now flows to the LED, and the LED starts to glow. How many of you have capacitors, LEDs at home? You have that breadboard with you, boys? Those boards, electrical circuit boards, a smaller version, where if you want, you can. Capacitors are available in the market also. Then you can have 9-volt battery. what we need to go is we have to go for one video clipping where you can see the charging and discharging of capacitors. If that is the case, then those video clipping, I'll put it in your class notebook section. So this weekend, you just go through it, boys. How your capacitor is, how you can charge and discharge your capacitor using your DC power supply. But you cannot continuously use your capacitor with a DC power supply. Capacitor will keep charging up once the voltage across your capacitor becomes equal to the battery voltage. That's it. Later on, no current flows through the circuit unless and until you replace the battery and discharge the capacitor. But this is not the case in case. This will not be the case for a for a AC power supply, because the voltage is alternating. So the same concept you can understand when we go for alternating current. It's volume 2. Can you see the PowerPoint slide? Yes.
It's a white
when
slide.
the distance increases between the two plates increases, the capacitance decreases, right?
Yes, yeah, that will decrease.
Okay, ma'am.
Did we start with this? The potential difference across, one second, was you have two parallel plate capacitor. This is a capacitor. Basically, a simple capacitor will have two metal plates. Now these two metal plates are connected to a power supply. Right, boys? V. Now what happens? Now charges get deposited across your capacitor plates. Now the charge which gets deposited across your capacitor plate is directly proportional to V. Now suppose if I increase, if I'm going to increase the supply voltage, then more number of charges will get deposited across your capacitor. That is why the charges stored in a capacitor is directly proportional to V, or I can write Q is equal to CV. And this constant of proportionality, C, is called the capacitance of the capacitor. Right, boys? Yes. The charges across the plates of the capacitor or I can say the charges stored in the capacitor Q is directly proportional to the potential difference across the plates of the capacitor. So Q is directly proportional to V, or Q is equal to CV. So this constant of proportionality, C, is called the capacitance of the capacitor.
Ma'am, do we draw this?
Yeah, no need to draw the diagram, boys. Only you can just write. So SI unit will be farad. SI unit will be farads. Or I can represent it as F. You can have microfarad, then you will be having 10 to the power of minus 6 farad, picofarad, 10 to the power of minus 12 farads. Because if you want to have a better understanding of the working principle as well as the application of capacitor possible, I'll put the video clipping. Right, boss? Just check your class notebook section.
Ma'am, what is that, ma'am? Q is proportional to?
V.
No, ma'am, on the right side, PD. What is that?
PD means potential difference. Fine. Sure. Others can leave, boys. You have the other period, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, boys.